Scorpio, listen to this tense silence. Your life now resembles the mirror-smooth surface of a deep, dark lake just moments before the first lightning strike. Everything seems to be frozen still, but this is merely a deceptive calm before a great storm. You feel it in your very essence, in your skin. The air around you has grown dense, humming with a hidden tension, with the premonition of changes that are already on the threshold of your world. This is not anxiety, it is an omen. Higher powers are setting the stage for an act of justice, and this message you are hearing right now is no accident. It is the very key the universe is placing in your hands so you can understand the script that is about to unfold without your participation, yet for your liberation. This script has already begun to seep into your reality, Scorpio, through barely perceptible cracks in the veil of everyday life. You see the same numbers on clocks, on passing cars, on store receipts. These are not coincidences. This is the language the celestial conductor uses to beat the rhythm of impending retribution. Your dreams have grown deeper, featuring images from the past, but the faces of those who hurt you are blurred, as if erased by relentless time. A snippet of conversation overheard on the street, a line from an old song on the radio, everything suddenly takes on a secret, personal meaning for you. These are the first chords of that symphony of justice. The universe whispers to you that the mechanism has been set in motion. It is tuning its instruments, preparing to play the finale in which your oppressor will forever leave the stage. Each such sign is a drop that wears away the stone of their deceitful reality. And very soon, that stone will crumble into dust. It is at this moment, when the outside world hums with omens, that your inner compass, Scorpio, shudders and freezes, pointing in the only true direction. This is not a thought, it's an electric shock through your nerves. A sudden deafening silence in your head, in which only one phrase, forged from pain and steel, resounds, "Enough." In this instant, you remember not the offense itself, but what it stole from you. You recall that old, almost forgotten dream you buried beneath the rubble of betrayal. You see your former self, the one who believed, who burned with passion, who pursued their goal, and you realize that this person's poison was not only tainting your present, but also your future. And this realization, this crystal-clear, relentless clarity, becomes the very verdict you pass on their influence over your life. You, by your own will, pull out the linchpin that held their world in your reality. And here, Scorpio, be vigilant. For in the very moment you release your grip, your own shadow, your inner guardian, will rise against you. This is your ancient instinct, to keep your enemy close and the pain even closer, because it has become familiar, almost domesticated. And this inner voice, cold and insidious, will hiss, "Stop, where are you going? This wound is yours, you know its every curve. In this darkness, you are the master. But beyond the threshold, there is only emptiness and the unknown. Do not succumb to this poisonous whisper. This is the final temptation, the universe's last test. It asks you, are you ready to let go not only of your tormentor, but also of the role of victim you've grown accustomed to? Are you ready to trade a familiar prison for dazzling, frightening freedom? Your silent yes is all it takes to trigger a chain reaction. And this yes is not just a thought. It is the strike of a ritual gong whose vibration shakes off the ashes of others' words and expectations from your soul. In this moment, your true essence awakens, Scorpio. Not a victim of circumstances, but a warrior of spirit who remembers that their main armor is will. Not a broken wanderer, but a sage who sees that the darkest hour is not the end of the journey, but merely the threshold to great knowledge. You straighten your shoulders, and this movement is the first act of your new script. You take a step forward, not with your feet, but with your entire being, consciously choosing the uncharted path of your destiny. You turn towards your future, and in this moment, all the forces of the universe turn with you, ready to follow their commander. And the first command you unknowingly give to this cosmic army is to destroy the three pillars on which your oppressor's illusory world rested. The first pillar is their well-being. Watch as the financial flows that seemed inexhaustible to them suddenly dwindle and turn into trickles of dry sand. Deals fall through, opportunities slip through their fingers at the last moment. Everything they considered solid ground becomes shifting quicksand. The second pillar is their social mask. The mirrors of others' eyes, in which they were accustomed to seeing admiration and trust, begin to reflect their true, distorted essence. The lies become evident, people instinctively recoil, sensing coldness and emptiness behind their words. The third pillar is their path. Their inner guiding star extinguishes, and they are left in utter darkness, without purpose or direction. The universe takes away their map, and now they simply wander in the labyrinth of their own mistakes, not understanding why all roads lead to dead ends. It is in this labyrinth, groping in despair, that they will do the only thing left for them. They will reach out to you. Be ready, Scorpio, for this is the first and most cunning test of your liberation. It will not be a loud knock at the door. It will be a quiet whisper from the past, a casual message, a song they send without words, a message through mutual acquaintances. This is their last maneuver, a drowning person's desperate attempt to grab onto your ship. And here is your main lesson: do not offer them your hand. Engage your innate lie detector, your Scorpion intuition, which never fails. You will feel not remorse for their actions, but only animal fear for their own fate. Your task is to become impenetrable, like obsidian. Do not respond. Do not react. Do not give them energy, neither with anger nor with pity. Your complete conscious silence is not passivity, but the most powerful action. It is your final verdict, which you pass on their past in your life. And when your silence becomes deafening, the second act of this drama will begin. Karma will enlist witnesses. Those who stand at the crossroads of your worlds, mutual acquaintances, friends who don't know the full depth of your wound, will reach out to you. They will come as emissaries, messengers of another's despair, carrying the torch of false reconciliation. You will hear their voices, full of sincere or feigned sympathy. Perhaps you should talk. They are very sorry. You two were so close. Do not succumb to this temptation. This is a test not of your cruelty, but of your loyalty to yourself. Your task is not to engage in battle, but to establish a boundary. Calmly, firmly, without a drop of venom, but with an unbreakable will, tell them, I appreciate your concern, but this door in my life is closed. Forever. This phrase is not a shot, but the erection of an invisible, yet impenetrable wall that will protect your reawakening world. And then, when the echo of your words fades in the ears of the intermediaries, the universe will hold up the last, most clouded mirror to your eyes. This will be your ultimate test of spiritual maturity. You will see them, or hear about them, in a state of complete collapse. Not as an aggressor, but as a supplicant. Not as a tyrant, but as a shadow. Fate will show you their moment of greatest humiliation when they lose everything they valued above you. And in that second, from the deepest depths of your heart, the most insidious enemy will rise, pity. It will whisper, look what you've done. Perhaps you were too cruel. Here is your strategic response, Scorpio. You are not an executioner. You are an ocean that simply returned a stone thrown into it to the shore. You did not create its weight. You merely stopped keeping it afloat. Your task now is to be an impartial witness, not a rescuer. Observe the work of cosmic law without interfering with its surgical precision. It is in the midst of this cosmic theater, as you observe the fall of another's scenery, that the universe will send you a messenger. It will not be an angel with a flaming sword. It might be an old man sitting on a bench, or a child drawing with chalk on the pavement. This person will look you straight in the eye, as if knowing your entire history, and hand you a key. It will not be an object, Scorpio. It will be a phrase, simple and sharp as a surgeon's needle. Stop watching the fire. Find a clean place to build your home. And in that second, you will understand. Your task was not to revel in retribution, but to ensure that the old site was cleared. This advice is your architectural compass, which will now point not to the ruins of the past, but to the foundation of your new, unshakable future. And you look away, not with effort, but with a slight, almost indifferent movement, as if changing a channel that has been playing a bad movie for too long. In this moment, a euphoria of silence descends. The air becomes sweet, the world colorful, and your own energy, which you no longer spend on defense, returns to you in a turbulent, healing flood. It seems everything is over. Victory came easily, almost routinely. But it is here, Scorpio, that karma's most cunning trap lies hidden. This piece is not the finale, but an intermission. The universe has removed all external pieces from the board so that you can prepare for the main game, the game with the only opponent who still remains. This was merely a dress rehearsal. The cosmos gives you this respite so you can regain your strength before the last, most important exam, a meeting with that part of yourself that still remembers the taste of poison. In this silence, you suddenly taste something familiar on your tongue, the phantom sweetness of the first day you met, the warmth of a long-forgotten embrace. This is the poison, Scorpio, memory disguised as nostalgia, seeking to survive. It invites you to return, at least mentally, to relive what once felt real. And here is the peak of your trial, the moment when the cosmic key turns in the lock of your heart with a resounding click. You are offered a final choice: to preserve this poisoned honey in the archives of your soul, or to burn the entire archive to ashes, leaving nothing behind. And you make the only correct decision, merciless to the past. You don't just close the door, you mentally take that very first, brightest image that became the hook for all subsequent pain and throw it into the fire of your will. You watch as it writhes and disintegrates, and with it burns not the offense, but the very attachment to the illusion. This is your ultimate blow, struck not at the enemy, but at their shadow within you. But be prepared for what will remain in the place of this bonfire, not a blooming meadow, but scorched earth. You have paid your price, Scorpio, and that price is emptiness. You didn't just remove a splinter, you amputated a part of your history, and now your spirit, like a warrior after a hard battle, must relearn to walk on the prosthetics of silence. For a time, the world will lose its colors for you. Not only the black depth of pain will disappear, but also the crimson flashes of passion that were inextricably linked to it. This is the harshest ascent, to endure not a storm, but a deafening calm. To cross the desert of your own soul, where there are no enemies, no ghosts, but only you and the echoing resonance of your liberation. This emptiness is not defeat. It is the sterile cleanliness of an operating room, where your new destiny is preparing to take its first breath. But this first breath turns out not to be a gulp of fresh air, but a convulsive spasm that tears at your lungs. For in this sterile emptiness, your most ancient fear, your scorpion core, raises its head and asks a chilling question. What if this is a trap? What if this silence is just a vacuum in which a monster worse than the last will now be born? Your inner warrior, left without an enemy, drops their weapon in confusion. There's no one to hate, no one to defend against. And then they turn their sting on the only available target, on you. You begin to feel that you have made a fatal mistake, that by tearing them from your life, you have also torn out your own heart, leaving only a gaping, meaningless hole. This is the peak of your internal crisis, when victory feels like complete defeat. Because you finally understand you were not fighting them, but that part of yourself that desperately needed this poison to feel alive. So be still, Scorpio. Don't thrash, don't search for the bottom in this abyss, because the bottom is you. Allow this truth, heavy as 100 of your own stings, to pull you into the very center of your inner darkness. Now there are no enemies, no allies, no right, no wrong. There is only you and the weight of your own illusion, which you have so long mistaken for the elixir of life. This is the dark night of the soul that the wise whisper about. It is not punishment, it is an initiation by deafening silence. The universe demands from you not strength, but complete unconditional powerlessness. Stop being a warrior. Become a seed that must lie dormant in cold, seemingly dead earth to one day sprout. Your only action now is to not act. Your only prayer is silence. And in this dead center, when you expect nothing but eternal darkness, a ray of light flashes in your consciousness. It is not a thought born of the mind, but an echo of that very key the messenger gave you. Find a clean place to build your home. And an epiphany comes, simple and omnipotent, like the rising sun. You suddenly understand that the universe did not ask you to be a judge or an executioner. It merely cleared a construction site for you, removing the toxic debris of the past. And thus, your new strategy is born, wise and inevitable, like the flow of a great river, From now on, you will not spend a drop of your precious energy analyzing ruins. Every step you take towards creating your well-being, every stone laid in the foundation of your new world, is not just an act of creation, it is an act of definitively erasing them from your reality. You do not defeat them. You render them insignificant. You pick up a trowel and the first stone for your new foundation, and at that moment, the last guardian emerges from your shadow, your inner architect of pain. This is not a demon with horns. This is the wisest, most cautious part of you, the one that swore never to allow suffering again. And it does not shout, "Stop." It whispers in your ear with the voice of your own experience, "Not like that. Here, the wall should be thicker so no one can break through, and the windows smaller so you don't see betrayal, and make only one door with 7 locks. This architect hands you an old torn blueprint of your former prison and says with paternal care, "This is safety." Woi. And you freeze with the stone in your hand, realizing that the last battle is not for walls, but for the blueprint, for the right to burn it and learn to build under an open sky, without fear of the rain. And you do what your fear dreads most. You smile, not the baring of a warrior's teeth, but the quiet, wise smile of one who sees the entire game. You look into the eyes of your architect of pain, and without a word, extend your free hand, not for battle, but as a farewell to your old self. And in that instant, the tattered blueprint in their hands ignites not with fire, but with pure light, and crumbles into golden dust that the wind immediately carries away. The heavy stone in your palm suddenly becomes light, almost weightless. For the first time in many years, you breathe deeply, and this air, the air of freedom, burns your lungs with sweetness. In this moment, you die in your old role and are reborn, not as a warrior in armor, but as a master who holds in their hand not a stone for a wall, but a seed for an entire garden. And you place this seed in the soil of your new will, and it takes root not in the ground, but in the very code of your reality. And here is the main gift you receive, Scorpio. You gain not amnesia, but a higher selectivity of perception. Their image, which was once a searing brand on your soul, now becomes merely a faded photograph of a distant ancestor in an old album. You look at it without pain, without anger, without love, only with the cold curiosity of an anthropologist studying an extinct species. Their name no longer causes a phantom tremor. You haven't erased them from the book of your life. You simply burned that book and began writing a new one, in whose alphabet their name does not exist. And now you speak a new language, the language of creation. Every morning you utter your new mantra, your single truth, "I am the source, I am the law, I am the beginning." And in the vibration of these words, their last echo dissolves. They do not disappear from the world, Scorpio. They disappear from your universe because there are no longer frequencies on which they can exist. Their karma is their personal, solitary path to nowhere, which no longer concerns you. Your path is no longer a line from the past to the future. It is a sphere, expanding in all directions simultaneously, filled with your light. And this message was merely a map to lead you out of one dark forest. Ahead lies an entire continent. Go.